Ladies and gentlemen, your eyes do not deceive you. GSAP is now fully free. Man, shout out Webflow. They put up the bread to subsidize slash sponsor GSAP, and now it's completely free for everyone. You know, free is one of my two favorite words. I can't decide which one's number one, money or free. But yeah, those parallax effects that you needed to upgrade to Elementor Pro to use, otherwise you had to go with the roundabout method or any other web builder that you had to upgrade to the Pro plan. It is now completely free, along with plenty of other effects. I'm only gonna go through some of them in this video. Actually, I'll just show you. So, as you can see, I've got texted changes, and with GSAP, everything that you see on here is so simple. It's like 1 to 3 lines, and it can be a different word each time. It can be as many as you want. There's smooth scrolling throughout the entire website. This parallax effect was like 5 lines. GSAP is just beautiful for animations and all that. But yeah, let's get right into it. So here in the installation, if you're using, say, React, you could install GSAP and then import GSAP as well as any other plugins that you would use. But I'm using the Content Delivery Network, or CDN, because I'm only using HTML, JS, and CSS for this video. So in this video, I'm going to be using Scroll Smoother, very great plugin, and the text plugin as well. As you can see, the scroll trigger is automatically selected because Scroll Smoother requires scroll trigger to work. So let's go ahead and copy that in. As you can see at the bottom of the HTML, I've already pasted that in, and as you can see, I'm writing my GSAP in a separate file. Just make sure it's behind all the imports, otherwise problems can occur. So I think I'll start off with text change. So as you can see, I've got this item here that changes text every 3 or so seconds. So to use this text change, you have to register the plugin, right? I'm not using draw SVG. Let me just remove that. So once you've registered the text plugin, you can just animate it as you would with any other GSAP function. So GSAP.2, so that's saying from wherever it was originally. As you can see in my HTML, let me scroll up, it starts at style, but from style it would go to a random text that I choose. You could just pass it as a single, say a single item. Hello, and it would only change once, but you can get creative with this. As you can see, I've passed in an array of words that you can choose from, and I'm using the random library to get a different one each time. But there are some things that you need to know. For example, you should know that repeat -1 just makes it repeat infinitely. If it was a positive number, it would just repeat until that specific number that you've chosen. And duration, self-explanatory. If I want this to be longer, I could make it 3 seconds. You don't want it to be too long, otherwise it gets sort of janky. But 1 second should do. You could do it shorter if you'd like. You see, 1 second just makes it flow better. But if you want, if I commented this out and change the repeat delay to like 1, as you can see, it would change to the same word each time. But because I've set repeat refresh as true, each time this hero text, the text animation iterates, it will get a new value. If this was set to false or not included at all, persona, or whichever one it chose first, would be continually used each time. And repeat delay, self-explanatory. If you want there to be some time before it changes to the next one, You put it however much delay you want in seconds, and it'll cause that delay. So that's really good effect, especially for your hero section. But now let's get into smooth scroll. This is probably the most used effect ever. I think not like fade ins or something like that, but like advanced effect for like Parallax. As you can see, the website, not even just the Parallax effect, the website itself scrolls sort of smooth. So here I've said scroll smoother.create, so this is creating an instance of scroll smoother, and this smooth value is what determines how much delay there is from the page from where it scrolls to its actual position. It's better if I show you. Let me set this to 10. You don't want anything bigger than 2. So as you can see, when I scroll, it takes a long time, 10 seconds, to get to where I actually scrolled. So you don't want anything more than like 1.2, anything more than 2 seconds. Keep it between 1 and 2. If you left it at 1, it would basically be the same speed. Yeah, basically, because it'd be 1 second for the page to catch up to where it's actually scrolled. But this is the biggest one. Before I get into that, let me get into smooth touch. Smooth touch determines the scroll smoother effect on mobile devices. You know, people scroll on their phones really quick, so you don't want anything bigger than a second, because scrolling up and down can get really janky, so you want to keep it like light. 1/10 of a second is great. But now effects equals true. So let me go into the HTML and let's firstly talk about how to get smooth scroll on the page. So as you can see, I've wrapped the entirety of the content of the website in a div, and that div is wrapped by the body. The body acts as smooth wrapper. Let me just show you. So let me go down. Let me look for scroll smoother. Whatchamacallit? Yeah. So it's better if you make a div and another div with the ID of smooth wrapper and smooth content. But if you don't, GSAP will automatically do that for you. So it's basically using the smooth wrapper and smooth content to calculate how much parallax it needs to put. Not so much parallax, but more delay on the scroll or velocity of the scroll. How much of it needs to put on the content, the entirety of the smooth content, to create that smooth scrolling effect. But now for the parallax effect, it gets pretty cool. So let's go into the HTML. Let me go down to the So I have some images here. Let me just remove these and show you what each of them does. Remove that, and let me remove that. So with all of them gone, as you can see, it scrolls all at the same pace. There isn't any parallax effect. And now let's go through the effects you can add. That's why you need to set effects is true here, otherwise this won't work. So I can put a lag, so to speak, on how long it takes for the object to move to its actual scroll position. It works in basically the same way as the smooth that I talked about previously. So if I set a data lag of 1 second on this first one, it'll take, you see that delay? It takes a second for it to get to the position it actually scrolled. And you can combine these with using all three of them at different lag speeds to get a more clean parallax effect. I can say data lag of 0.3 and a data lag of 2. Get creative with your numbers. So as you can see, is that sort of delay, and all of them move at different speeds. They're moving at the same speed, but it looks like they're moving differently because it takes a second for it to get to its actual position. And now where GSAP goes absolutely ballistic. Let me remove one styling. So these three images I have are inside an image container, and the images are bigger than the container, and you need it to be that way for this effect. So as you can see, these images are really huge. This has like a higher index, so these cut off, but otherwise these would go to like down here. But let me make overflow hidden again, and now the magic happens. If I said data speed on the image and set it to auto, let me copy that for all of these. No, let me copy that for only one so you can see the difference. GSAP automatically calculates the speed it needs to move the content at to create the parallax effect. So you see how the first picture moves down with like a parallax effect while the others stay stationary? That's because of data speed. If I didn't set it to auto and I set it to like 2, basically data speed is a multiplier for how fast you want it to move. So the image is going to move twice as fast as it should. So yep, as you can see, it's moving way quicker than it should. You can put manual numbers in, but I prefer auto. It just makes it look so luxurious for like 3 lines of code. You're upgrading from low level to high level really easily. Let me add that to all 3. And it doesn't need to be an image. You can add it to literally anything. Say I added book appointment. Let me add a data speed. Let me add a data speed of like 0.3 here. Alright y'all, live server is just bugging, but as you can see, you need to be careful with what data speed you keep on items, because now the book appointment button, as you can see, it scrolls at a different speed, but it scrolls so quickly that it covers other items. So you want to keep it at a reasonable speed. So I'm just keep this at like 1.1. And let's get back to it. Chrome. 1.1 is still too much, so let's slow it down to like 0.9. You see, you can just mess around with it until you find the perfect numbers to work with. Let me refresh. Yeah, it looks way better. And these images got parallax effects as well, and yeah, GSAP is great. There's a lot more you can do as well. Like for example, with text, you can add new classes to the text that is going to be replaced. You can add classes to the old text, and like you can get creative by changing colors each time it changes text. You can get so creative with GSAP. There's so many other effects you can use. There's like split text. There's like draw SVG. You can literally draw an SVG text. You can morph from like a ball to a star. You can get creative. But yeah, that's it for this video. Make sure y'all like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.